What's up, beautiful babies? I feel like all my intros are like this, but I am just so grateful to be in your ears, on your screen. Welcome to another episode of Get Close Podcast. And as you can see, one of our favorites has returned for another episode with us. Thank you for coming back, Anthony Lee.
Applause sign.
The applause sign went on. I am your host, Gio.
And I'm Bart. And on this show, on the second appearance, we pull questions from the fans so that they can also get close with you.
Yes.
This is amazing.
You ready?
Yes. So these are the most nosiest people, okay?
I'm hyped and I'm scared.
Do you want like a cute one, a deep one?
I want you to just go wherever
Okay,
you want
ready?
the show to go.
Let's rock.
And welcome back to my show.
No.
Get Close, guys. I'm your host here.
The fucking humblest dude ever. All right, Anthony. Okay, there's gonna be multiple choice. I'm just kidding. It's not multiple choice. It's literally just your life. How did you meet your fiance? I don't even think I know this story. Do you know this story?
I don't know this story.
God, we don't
Okay.
even know you at all.
Yeah, you guys don't know. No. Well, high level answer. She was on my old dance team called CADC back in college in UCI.
So she went to UCI.
She went to UCI.
Did you guys
as well.
graduate the
How
same time?
cute. You
So
guys
I'm
knew
actually
each other?
7 years older than her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was an alumni who would come back and choreograph. And obviously, since I stayed dancing, you know, most people that like join collegiate dance teams, it was like their club on campus. But like I stayed dancing, so I was still active, obviously in my own community, which means that like whenever the teams would continue to go to like workshops, dance competitions, I would be like hosting, I would be judging, I would come back and choreograph for them. So there was constantly like a little bit of just crossover. So I would like always meet the new team and whatnot.
Yeah, you're the weird senior that hangs around.
I'm the weird
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
I'm the weird guy that like is crushing on this young
like, why is
ass
this
girl.
25-year-old at prom again?
I like how 25 is like the weird old guy.
Or a 25-year-old senior
I
high
pretty
school
much
prom.
was
Yeah,
that,
that is
though.
weird.
That is kind of, well, not high school prom, but
I know,
point
I'm
is,
just
there was one time when I found out she worked at Disneyland. She was a dancer at Disneyland.
So you knew of her.
Yeah.
So you had already seen
Okay.
her before. What was
Yeah.
your first impression when you saw her?
Yeah.
Were you like,
I was like, it's cool.
oh, so because you were probably like in a different headspace. You were
Yeah.
probably in a relationship or something.
Yeah.
So you were in a bow chicka bow wow.
Yeah, I was not. I definitely was not ever going back to CADC. My old team being like, which of the girls are fine. I was like, definitely not
But
that.
some of them pop out.
Excuse you, sir?
I've read
know.
about that.
But,
Okay, I believe you.
But yeah, just after like meeting her, finding out something about like her dancing at Disneyland or whatnot, right? And by that time, once I had gone to Disneyland, one time I remember thinking like, oh, this girl's kind of cute, so I should figure out, you know, how to connect. So first, I think, and we have a poster on a wall.
What does
that
she
has a
dance at
constellation.
Disneyland?
She was like dancing in the parades.
Oh,
and stuff like
cool.
that. Yeah, she was also a parade dancer.
Like a teacup or something bouncing around?
She wasn't a teacup, but yes, like that.
Like that,
Really,
okay.
really interesting, fun little costume.
He's
Gotcha.
only gone to Disney like less than 10 times. You have to excuse some of his Disney questions.
Well, that's like a serious like answer then, like kind of like teacups.
Yeah.
Like really crazy costumes
Okay.
for
Yeah.
children. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But and we have this poster hanging on our wall now of like, you know, those like where the constellations of the stars were on a
How
given moment in
cute.
time.
We have that for Taika when like you guys met or something.
It's when I slid in her DMs.
Nice.
So she has it for when I slid in the DMs.
How
awesome.
cute.
Yeah, because like, you know, I was trying to be all cool and shit and just be like, oh, I'm at
What's your
Disneyland.
like? What's your like? That was your line?
Well, it's because like we all. Here's the hard thing: when you're all part of
Of
the
all
same
judging?
organization already, it's not like you can just go on dates all the time, inter-crew dating type stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's actually even more, maybe especially for me as an older person
right.
too. It's like I'm not
Got
gonna
you.
jump in.
Yeah, they call it
and
like
just,
fraternization. It's kind of
yeah,
weird. Yeah.
So like
All
even
right.
more,
Yeah.
you
I'll
have
let
to be
it
like
pass.
super chill. So so I slid and I was just kind of like, hey, heard you work at Disneyland. I'm here. Right. And then she responded all extra friendly too. She was like
Like
so,
what?
oh, you should have let me know. I would have signed you in. And then I was like,
That is very friendly.
right. And I was
Go
like, oh, like
Nina.
I wouldn't hit you up to sign me in because like we never hung out. But, you know, I'm here. So she's like, oh, I'm not there. Blah, blah, blah. But obviously we had already slid in the DMs now.
Nice.
So we just kind of kept on communicating. You
But
know, here and
what are
there.
the things that you were communicating at? Was it like liked pictures? Like what kept the conversation
So
going?
so another time I slid in the DM just to say happy birthday. Right?
Okay.
So, I mean that's fair, right? People
Playing the
people say
long
happy
game.
birthday. Well, I guess people
It's
usually
like 8 months worth of talking.
Well, you know, on Facebook, right? When it's like your birthday or something. I don't even use Facebook, but I at least know
Yeah,
that. Like
the
usually
reminder.
when people wish you a happy birthday, it's just in comments. So
Yeah.
to even like go in the DM and like send a message that other people can't see that like is a little bit more like you should respond to this and not just like it.
Yeah.
You know, that's where I was at. If I'm gonna wish somebody happy birthday, and I still do that, even like fellas, you know what I mean? Like there's comments, but then there's also like actually saying and reaching out.
I always do that.
right?
When it's someone that I know personally, guy or girl, if it's their birthday, I never comment on the picture. I text them.
See that makes sense,
Yeah.
but that can be
That's very
perceived
nice.
as a move.
Gotcha.
It
Right,
can be,
so
yeah.
so I think energy was just brewing, and then this maybe doesn't lead to the success of it, but this is funny as hell to talk about. There's definitely one time where she had told her homie Calvin, who was on the team when I was on the team, who worked at Disneyland with her. So there were bridges, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. She had told him to invite me to a party.
Okay.
Right?
Okay,
So,
that's
of
my
course,
girl. Okay.
So he invites me to the party.
This
so
is
I
post
go,
DMs.
Yeah, this post. This is post DMs. I believe.
Oh, okay.
So she's making
Calvin's
a move.
probably like, fuck, man, I liked her so much. All right.
He's gay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then, damn it, I can't create drama.
And so he invites me, and I actually go. I had no idea that it was like through her doing. But the funny part, what's funny now, because obviously, you know, I love her, but is my ex-girlfriend from the team also shows up at this party that I hadn't seen in a while. And me and her are super amicable.
Oh, okay.
Like it's everybody like we were both directors at different times. Like,
Is
you know,
she bound chicka bow wow?
point is,
No, because what if like, you know, you're amicable, but then you see her and you're like, auga.
she is a beautiful person. She's a wonderful human being. Okay, let's just keep it at that. Especially while we got
Keep
Nina
it at that,
over
bro.
Well, who awugas you more?
Who awoogas you more, dude?
Yeah.
Bar's so good at
Answer.
putting me at just that thin line.
But who awoogas you
Nina
more?
Oh, you
does.
just
Nina
wait for
does.
your third appearance?
Nina,
We have a
fucking
whole
for
different set of
dude.
questions, and we're gonna play a
Nina's, I got the hots for her.
Okay,
you know, that's
of course.
the point.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the point.
yeah,
When
yeah,
I see her, I'm like, that's my
It's
type.
not called the It's not called the hots. It's called the awoogas.
Awoogas.
Can you
She
please say it the
she
right
double
way?
awooga me hoo ha, right? Like,
Yes.
All right, good.
like fucking tongue rolls out like a red carpet.
Yeah,
eyes like the mask
There
type
you
shit.
go.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah, the retinas separate from the actual eyeball.
yeah.
That's romantic.
And then so my ex-girlfriend shows up. I haven't seen her in a long time. We end up catching up because it's just like we haven't seen, and then we end up leaving the party together.
Ah, that's not a good look.
But it was funny as fuck because like that's like the worst situation that could happen for her. I had no idea what was going on.
Heartbroken.
Did that frustrate her a little bit? Have you guys,
She thought like that kind of like ended it for her a little bit.
she's
but-
like, oh, they're rekindling it.
yeah, but nothing happened. We're just friends, and you know we just kept in touch, and things ended up working out. It's cool.
I don't want to wait for our life. That's what she heard as you guys were like walking away. She's like, fuck.
When did it cross
She
over
might not
though?
even know Dawson's Creek. Fuck.
Oh, that's
Ah,
true. When did it
I'm
cross over?
old.
When did it go from like where we're kind of in this dance group together, but then now we're friends beyond it, and then now we're awooga.
Yeah, so we were never even
Awooga-ing.
on the dance team together. You know what I'm saying?
Or
So
the
it was
same
just-
crew, right?
Yeah. We were just always seeing each other at different types of events, or I would come back and choreograph, right? But you know, I think after like breaking the ice and messaging in the DMs, like once conversations started to just like slowly pick up, I think like the talking started happening, and then once like the talking started happening, like for me, maybe it's also easier because I'm older, that like it's a lot easier for me to just be like, all right, let's go on a date. Like I don't have to like ask you out or like
Yeah.
you know make it official. I'm not so like caught up on like maybe the way that we saw relationship building in like high school and stuff, right? It's a lot easier to be like, what is this? What do you want to do? Is it cool? No.
Brother, it's not that you're older. It's just you're just mature. Because I know people
Okay,
that are
true.
my age, that I've had conversations with that are still like playing a game, and I'm like, bro, you can't be playing games.
Yeah, if you're trying to find someone real.
Yeah.
And that's the funny thing too, because like I said, like we're kind of like inner crew in that way. So it's like I'm not trying to just hook up with her.
Yeah.
It's actually really we went on a couple dates for a couple months before I even felt comfortable going all the way with her. I was actually one of those like can't have sex early just in case.
What
you
if,
know what I'm saying?
Was she like? So in the beginning stages, was she a little bit more down to go all the way more than you
Hell
were?
yeah.
Damn.
Hell, she wanted this, man.
Good Filipino.
Yeah, but no.
She's Filipino,
no,
right?
It was just, you know, like all I'm saying, I won't speak on behalf of her, but for myself, it was so clearly like this is not like a hit it and quit it type thing, regardless of like knowing how I feel. So I had to take even longer with it, but there was like even on our first day, I took her to like Laguna Beach area because again, we were in Irvine, so like that's
right there,
the closest, nicest like type of spot, right?
Yeah.
So we go to Laguna. It was mad cute. I just take her out to eat and stuff like that, and we fucking fly a kite. We still have that same kite.
How cute!
It was just one of those little shops that has like floaties and random stuff for the ocean.
That's
awesome. I
awesome.
fucking saw a blue kite. I was like, "You ever flown a kite?" She's like, "No." I'm like, "What the fuck?" So we bought a kite for like $10, and we still have that kite.
You need to teach Taika how to fly a kite.
It's fun, dude.
I tried. I bought a professional one too.
Don't do the professional ones.
He doesn't know how to fly a kite, so you have to teach.
We were in a windstorm.
If you get the crazy one, that's hard to fly. If you get like the fucking just one string and then you pull up the wind, that's it.
You need to teach him, and then teach me after.
All right, but I remember telling her, I was like at that point in my life too, with the not trying to, not playing games. That I remember being like, "Hey, you're like super nervous right now, huh?" Because she was just being like kind of.
Damn. I like how you make her even more nervous.
But at the same time, like me, like that's not like off for me to do.
And I think it breaks the ice a little bit more.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
So what did she say? She was like,
she admitted. Honestly, she admitted to it, and I swear, all of the things that were in my head of like, how you have like a fucking checklist. It's not that she didn't hit my checklist. It was just more like. It wasn't so clearly like, oh, this is like
this is her, this is the one.
Yeah, not at all for a long time. And I don't mean that as a diss, you know what I mean? Because even my ex-girlfriend before that, I was like, this is the one.
Well, you were also so focused. I think at that point you were like in the thick of like upward trending with like Kinjas and everything.
Well, actually, when I first started dating, we went on that one date, and then I went to China for my first time for 3 weeks. So you already know my relationship with China. Like once I started, it almost didn't stop. It only continued to rise.
Yeah.
So going on one date with her and then going on a 3-week China trip, I honestly thought it was gonna end.
Yeah.
And
That's
we just kept talking, and it was literally for, and I don't mean this as a diss, but maybe for like 4 years out of our 7 years of dating, maybe for like 4 years, there would be moments where I'm like, is this enough? But then I'd be like, there's no problem, and I'm still having fun. So let's just like roll with the punches, because everything I was like has to be this way in my life. Or the girl's got to be like this. I'm looking for this type of woman. That shit didn't work out, and I was like, I'm having fun, and everything's just chill, and I maybe that's okay. And then somewhere like years after dating, just whether it's the comfort or the building your life and understanding that like we can do this for a long time and not get like frustrated. And then the pandemic was like the cherry on top.
I heard that for a lot of relationships.
It was make or break, huh?
Yeah. It was I was nervous. I was like, honestly, for 7 years, I'd never been with Nina for more than 3 months at a time, let alone stuck in the house. So even if I was home for 3 months, which would be the longest, even then, that's pockets of spending time when you can, get the hustle going, get the work done, workshop other shit with, you know what I mean, build business, what the fuck. This was like, not only was everybody was stuck at home, but you also didn't know if you could do anything. So people just kind of chilled. And we just fucking just stuck through it. And I don't know, we just got super close. I had hella fun. I still have hella fun. And that's why I proposed this year.
That's so cute.
Because I finally, even for myself, I finally had a clarity. I'm like, she's the one. And it took a long time.
I love these fucking stories, dude. It's so cute. That's tight. Yeah. It's also tight, kind of like going through this roller coaster of like, is it not? Fuck it, I'm gonna do my thing, and then going, oh shit, here it is.
Yeah,
sick.
Yeah, she's like, what I didn't know I wanted, but for sure who I need. Yeah,
I love that. Okay, that was a really good question. Let me see. Where's another one? Okay. I don't even know if you're going to relate to this. If you don't, we'll move past it.
Cool.
Did Anthony grow up watching any Chinese dramas in his household? If so, do you have a favorite show?
Or even Vietnamese or Korean too.
Yeah, I don't have anything that I can name because I wasn't like that. The only reason why that I was watching was because my mom would always go to like Garden Grove, Westminster area. And you know, back then they would just have those small ass rooms with all these illegally copied bootleg VHS.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a shop. We had the swap meet, dude. So I can't relate.
But every week, like grocery bags full of VHS. You know what I'm talking about? Like the whole like many seasons of a show.
The fucking shitty Xerox.
Shitty.
It's a VHS tape and like a blank cover.
Yeah.
That's rented constantly back and forth, like almost like a bootleg library.
It's super bootleg.
Yeah.
It's super some Asian shit, right? But my mom would always get it in Vietnamese, even though it was Chinese. Korean was huge, and it would just be dubbed over.
Yeah.
So my Vietnamese isn't that good, and also I would just get bored of like trying to like sit there and listen to Vietnamese anyway. So it was constantly playing in my house, but I never watched it. I never paid attention to watch it.
Some of the Chinese supermarkets, they have these video stores like in the secret room upstairs.
Yeah,
and you would just go in, like I'd go with my dad. So like my parents were divorced, so whenever I stayed with my dad doesn't know how to like parent. So he's like, well, we'll just watch movies. So we go upstairs and he rents me like 12 Jet Li movies and we just watch that.
That stuff I got into, like all the Wong Fei-hung Once Upon a Time in China, the Iron Monkeys, like the movies, old traditional. That for sure was.
Yeah,
that's Taika right now. I'm getting introduced to it. I'm like, fuck! I can't believe
she's watching Once Upon a Time in China specifically.
No, she watched. So we watched the Jackie Chan ones.
The drunken Master.
And then we watched. I'm like, look at the choreo on this.
It
the
is
wide
nuts.
shot,
brilliant,
and going from here to here to here to here to here. It's insane.
Drunken Master's so good.
Really good.
It's really good. Rumble in the Bronx.
Rumble in the Bronx is the best.
We watch this every day just because Taika's like obsessed. We watch Mr. Nice Guy right now every night on rotation.
Which one is Once Upon a Time in China?
Wong Fei-hung with Jet Li.
Is he with his son?
The music goes.
Yeah. But is he with his son or no?
I had to finish the melody. I can't go halfway.
Yeah. Is that with his son or no?
He does have a son. Yes, he does have a son, but
with the spear. Is that one?
He's like actually fathering in it, right? He's got like an actual little son who's trying to like learn shit.
Yeah. We've watched that one many times.
Like the opening scene is like 1,000 Chinese people doing
on the
kung
beach,
fu, and they have like the flags to show the different colors. And
yeah.
That one.
No, she's seen it.
I've seen it.
I believe so.
Oh shit! Yeah, no, these are good, and I'm like, fuck! I can't believe I haven't seen this stuff.
They're
like,
really good.
I'm like, how the fuck do you go from kicking this dude's ass to flipping him around and then perfectly timing kicking a trash can as he's about to hit the floor? He fucking lands in the trash can, and now you hook it to this truck that is like perfectly timed to like bounce, like leave and drive away. And I'm like, who thinks of this shit?
Jackie Chan is a goat.
Yeah, he's a fucking goat. And then I see him jump from one building to the next,
oh
and
my
like.
God.
Knowing he does all his stunts, and then you see the bloopers at the end. Those are
oh my god,
those are good. And then you see him hanging from a fucking window, and you see like the PAs and shit, like trying to like bring his ass back in. Nuts.
And then you also know he actually broke his bones and stuff.
Yeah,
he has that fake shoe.
He's the most flamboyant badass I've ever met or I've ever seen. Because there's just like scenes where like his crotch is open, right, and then there's like a saw table, and he's like, and then they call, and something happens where they have to call cut, and they stop it, and then he's like.
Or he warms up and it's like his hips.
Yeah, and they're like, this guy is doing like he's dancing with death all the time, but he's just like so like cool about
huge,
it.
Right? You know he's like 5'10", 6 feet.
Oh, I thought you meant like in career wise.
No, like an actual big person.
5'10" is I guess it's
for Chinese people.
Oh, okay.
And again, maybe we always see him with Chris Tucker in Rush Hour, so you think he's like a smaller Chinese guy.
He looks like 5'6".
Yeah,
but he's stocky too. He's a huge guy. Yeah, that was one of my greatest life achievements.
So
meeting
cool.
Jackie Chan.
That's sick. I forgot about
that. Could be a whole different story because I've never fucking fanboyed so hard. I fucking said
what did you do?
Shit.
What did you do to fanboy?
You gotta understand, this fool is fucking powerful, and the context of which I met him was through his son. And like we got on set when he was filming one of Jackie Chan's filming his own movies, directing his movie, and he does. Like, we're watching this girl that he's directing, right? And then he tells her to get out the seat. So he sits in front of the camera, and then he shows her how it has to be. And it's like, we're watching legend shit.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, there's a break. He comes out. He knows the Kinja. Oh, I see your video. Fucking good choreography. We're like,
whoa.
He's like, hey, let's take a photo. We all take a photo. We're already all dying. And then as he walks back from the break to go back, he looks at his son. He says some shit in Chinese. All right, I don't understand it. His son looks back at us. He's like, oh, no, they have to go. And then I'm still like, what did he say?
Yeah, what did he say? Well, we could stay.
And he's like, oh, he just invited you guys for dinner, but you have to go to your flight right now, right? And then all the guys look at me like,
fuck the flight.
Yeah. And then I look at our guy. I'm like, hey, can we change the flights? We change the flights.
Nice.
We go to dinner.
Fuck yeah.
We're fucking at dinner with Jackie Chan. He's like,
you're fucking at dinner?
You like king crab? Or he's like, you like crab? I'm like, yeah, I love crab. He's like, most expensive crab, all China. And he's like fucking showing us all this fine dining crab.
Shit.
He's like, you know, Alaskan king crab, normally US $100. This $200, this big. So good, right? He does all this shit. We're just fucking cracking up. And then there's one moment. This is the fucking weakest shit I've ever done.
Oh no.
He looks over and he goes like, "Hey, when's the next time you come to China?" And I don't know why. I just fucking fanboy so hard. I look at him, and all these people are here, and I'm like, whenever you want us to.
You own us now, Jackie Chan.
Yeah, you own us.
You let me know,
like,
dude.
Luckily, people are like laughing, but honestly, that's such a weak ass answer. Like,
It's not. I wouldn't see it as weak. I'd be like, oh, because he's obviously older than you. So if I was in his position, I'd be like, oh, look at these cute little kids.
Yeah, I'm saying that's it's cute, but it's like it's one of those things where it's Jackie Chan.
You wished you had a boss moment.
Yeah,
a cute
you know what I mean. It's like,
Yeah.
You can't outboss a boss, though.
I
dude.
know.
That's
That's
true.
true.
How do you
so
outboss?
boss?
Yeah, how do you
can't.
outboss him?
You can't.
I felt
You know?
tiny. You know,
Yeah.
he's like, I'm probably a little taller than him, but like
Yeah.
not in life.
He'll wreck you, dude.
Yeah.
You'll get wrecked. Yeah. Okay, you brought up Kinja. So someone, I guess they're new to this, to you. So I'm happy they asked this. They said, or they ask, what's the idea behind Kinjas? How do you guys think of ninja and dancing put together?
That's a good one. One of our main mantras is like movement in the shadows, right? Obviously from like a just ninja lore, cool fucking Asian kids wanting to be badass. You know what I mean? You watch all these kung fu movies and ninja shit. It's just cool, right? So I think the ninja stuff is that, and the shadows plays on that theme. But our mantra, movement in the shadows, actually plays to the idea of like what you do out of the light, right? Whether that be the hustle and the grind that you put into things that people don't see, or the humility in which you approach certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like so I think the ninja theme and the lore was just at the end of the day shit that we think is cool as like little boys growing up, Asian boys specifically, right?
Yeah.
Like Asians only have so many cool things to be, and ninjas is like one of those things. But ultimately the theme and the world, you know what I mean, is just like what we like to bring into dance. So with Kinjas being literally kin, like a family of ninjas, we like to be like the Illuminati of dance. You know, there's just like a darker, cooler vibe to it.
Why not famjas?
Famjas.
Yeah.
Famurai.
Was there a list of names?
There's a list.
Yeah, was there
Samurai.
a list of names that you guys brainstormed and Kinja's rose to the top?
Yeah,
Can we hear the other ones?
There were some dumb ones.
Like what?
Yes,
there was
let's hear
one moment
those.
where because we originally called ourselves Ambu Black Ops, right? Which
I like
is,
that one
which
the
is
best.
pretty much the Black Ops ninja sector, which does like all like the really discreet kind of like gangster stuff in
Yeah.
Naruto. Right, but then the second we were like,
Oh, it's from an anime?
It's from
Oh,
an
that's
anime.
whack.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's why we were
original.
like, all right, if we're actually gonna try to do anything with
What
this,
a
we probably
hater.
shouldn't
I'm not.
like fucking have somebody else's name. We should probably come up with something original.
Yeah.
And then one of the and we were looking at, because again we wanted to just be this group of dude ninjas things, which we have girls in our crew now, so you know it's different. But at that time we wanted to be this cool group of ninjas. So we're like, hey, what about like look up the word brothers in Japanese, right? We want
Yeah.
to be like all swagged out.
Is it Anakin
And
or
then
something?
nah, so he
what
looks
it-
it up, right? And then he's like, oh, burazaz, right? And we're like,
Oh no!
so we're like, burazaz,
It's just
brothers, burazaz, right?
Oh my god.
I
We're like,
love
this
that.
is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
that was we're probably crying on that one for a while because nobody got it at first.
Yeah.
Really?
We're like, oh, burazaz.
Like that's dope.
But but the second we finally got, we cracked over like this is dumb, and then
Thank
and then
God you didn't choose that
Oh
one.
my god, that's so stupid.
it's fucking funny, dude. What's brothers in Japanese? Burazaz.
That's funny.
Hey, we all do dumb shit. Oh fuck. Okay. This one kind of leads to what you just said. If you didn't dance, what other career path would you be on?
Career path?
Yeah, that's always a hard one.
Well, in the first episode, you also talked about how it's being a vehicle.
Yeah.
So, like, let's say it wasn't dance, and since I know what dance means to you now, what would be like another vehicle? I guess.
Maybe,
Brazazaz.
maybe music.
Music.
Yeah.
What
maybe
part of it?
music. When I was stuck in quarantine, right? I was able to give myself. Yeah, everybody got to be a kid again. I fucking played like PlayStation games for the first time forever. I was like going into just being like, what am I curious about? And a little bit of like, there's no dance was apparent in life. So it was like, what can you do, right? So I started just like producing beats, and I still suck at it. but I understand something about music and I'm attracted to it in a certain way. And even before I ever picked up dance moves, I picked up a guitar and I taught myself how to play guitar in all of high school. That was like my thing. I sucked at it as well, but I enjoyed it enough to always play it and bring it around and like discover new things. And that's just what I enjoy about, you know, music. It just, without the dance, there's still music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That, like, I will still love music the same way, even though I'm not necessarily dance to it. Dance gives me a relationship with it in a different way, but like I vibe off of music so much. So, and I know that I don't need to be like the best producer or the best artist or whatever. Just like I know in dance, I don't need to be the best dancer or choreographer to still have a very, very fun time and career in it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like I think music would still be a very, very strong part of it. And music, same thing, would be a sick vehicle, right? Because like if you're, maybe music will take me to like Coachella like dance did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether I'm performing, whatever, it just takes you to really cool places. And I think I'd enjoy that.
What were your first steps into learning how to produce music? Did you buy like an actual drum machine, or you download the software?
I had a little one just because I wanted to play with it, but honestly, I was just in like FL Studio, right, and I was just pulling different basses, you know, all the regular shit, like finding what does even an 808 mean, you know, like different sound packs and like understanding different loops and like what things go together. And for me, I recognized that I had joy not in finding the right sound, but rather the story. And I recognize that that's the same thing that I do in choreography. I never really care in my own choreography what the moves are, but rather how and why I got there. So just like an essay, right? I want to have an introduction. I don't want to go out the gate swinging unless there's a reason for it. And I want to build up attention or an energy. I want people to let people know that there's a developing narrative that happens, even if it's just on like the, you know, a deeper level. You don't see it right away, but you feel it. So same thing with music. I love the idea of trying to figure out how to tell a story, you know? So like when I started going into it, it wasn't just like, this is a sick beat. So it was like, how did I even get into that beat? Like what snares did I use that, and when did they come in, or what unique sound started it, so that you got a feeling. And I think that if people follow me closely and look at the music that I choreograph to, you'll understand what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? It's not just like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like I have really, really ethereal songs that I love getting down to, and I think that's just the way that my soul wants to express itself.
Like Better Off Alone?
Better off alone.
Because when you're talking about like you like the story, like how it builds,
that is a good story.
I was like, oh, that's just that's progressive trance. Like yeah, and then it just starts building. Oh, I asked you to hear this.
Our fans trolled us the other day. We asked everybody online. We were just like, hey, we got to do some. We're in rehearsal. We're gonna do some warm up choreo. You guys pick any song, any artist, whatever.
Tight. Yeah.
In the next hour, most liked it, we're gonna dance to it.
That's so cool.
And then fucking our fans chose Sandstorm.
Oh
nice.
God.
Oh, is that why you guys did that?
Yeah, like it's for our fans, and it was right after that.
Dope?
It was funny as fuck. It was just warm up, so you know, like people for sure enjoyed it. But I remember looking at Mike afterwards and being like, our fucking fans are old.
Oh yeah, or they're just trolls.
Or they're fucking trolling.
Yeah.
Then they made it. We did it again. They made us do Smash Mouth.
What?
Oh, I saw that one.
Yeah,
that one came out dope.
And I know the next one they're gonna make us. We wanted to do it too because it was second place for the last one.
Yeah.
But I know they're gonna make us do Eiffel 65 Blue next.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, you have an older demographic then.
It's funny.
I mean, we have an older demographic too, and I really do like it. I feel like they
you get to be yourself.
Yeah, they grew with us and they get who we are, and I'm like, cool. I can't imagine doing like.
Or if we say something borderline, they understand the context rather than hearing it almost for the first time in a different, wrong context.
So every time Bart's sitting across from me, right? Pick up on this, and I'm about to fuck you up every time you talk to him. Bart likes to talk with his eyebrows and his eyes.
Really?
Okay, so now when he talks, he'll get comfortable. For the next few, he probably will, but watch him. It's funny. It's funny. Okay, next question. Are you ready to be a father and have kids?
All I hear, again, you only have the people that teach you, right? Because I ain't gonna take no fucking advice from someone who doesn't have kids on this. But
yeah.
All I hear is that you're never ready. So there's no way I would ever be able to say I'm ready. However, like for me and just the way that my regular Chinese ass mind might work, like I just need to have particular like financial structure or business structure set in place that allows me to feel like I can walk away and like put my life and my energy into another human being. That's the only thing that, and I guess you will never have the perfect place for that. But I do feel like with all of the developments that are going on in my time of life right now, that I'm close to something. That's all I feel.
That's tight.
How cool.
Here's a question that I think might be a better question or a more enhanced question of what I think they're trying to ask. The ideal father figure that you want to be, do you feel like you're close to that person now? Is what I think they're trying to get at.
I think I have a lot to learn. I honestly think that if I were to be mad honest, I think I won't be a good father right away. I think I have to learn.
Work your way there.
I mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What makes, okay, what's your idea?
I think he's going to be a bad father. I believe in him.
What's your idea? Let's get on the same, let's speak the same vocabulary. What's your idea of a good father? What does that look like?
I love and respect my father a lot. And the man that I am, I wouldn't be without him. And I have all of these like really mature ways of viewing and understanding that. But I don't necessarily say that I like super enjoyed or appreciated my childhood or my upbringing. I mean, I'm not saying bad parenting. I'm just saying different time.
Yeah.
And that's what taught me. Like, for example, like hitting your children. Like I got beat. And I know that like Nina would not want me to like discipline my kids. And in my head, I also don't want to.
She never got hit?
She didn't get hit.
At all? Like none of her siblings did?
Maybe her siblings might have, because like most of her siblings grew up in like the Philippines and stuff like that. But like she's actually the only daughter of her dad, because it's her mom remarried. So she's actually the only actual daughter of both parents, whereas like her
half brothers and sisters.
Yeah, half sisters, if you will, are only children of the mother. So even like the father, connection in that way, it's like everybody treated her much more like the baby, because she's also just like the second dad's daughter type thing. So it's like she's way younger than her other sisters as well. So she's had a different experience. I was 2 years younger than my sister, and I was a boy. It was just a growing boy. Obviously, I was getting in a fuck ton of trouble. Yeah, just get beaten all day. You know what I mean? So, that's part of what I know. And I know it's again, I don't know if people are just like, if you don't want to do it, just don't do it. But I know that there are times where maybe inside, or like, because sometimes when I get frustrated, even at like my cats, I don't beat my cats or anything like that.
You should. They're evil.
Because they won't know, or they won't learn. But I know that there's something that I'm like, oh shit, I got that from my parents, that anger. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, I feel like until I get put in that position, like, all those stupid things that I said as a kid, like I would never treat my kid like this. I don't know. Because the older you get, the more you realize that you are your parents in so many ways.
Fuck yeah,
and a lot of things you just learn on the fly too. I think for me and her, for sure, we have like the ways that we're less preferred to parent. So we try our best to be the more preferred way to parent. And then also when things happen, sometimes things happen that you're just not even prepared for. One thing that I do think that we're fortunate enough to have that our parents didn't is actually time to debrief. I think like our parents, like they just, some shit happens, handle it because fucking bills need to get paid, or I got to go to this, I got to attend to this. They just don't even have time to debrief. So they don't even.
I think, where the beating.
Yeah, so they don't even know if.
That's huge. Yeah, and honestly, I hear that and I'm like, that makes so much sense, but that also still rocks my world, because I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, like for us, we'll handle something, and then regardless, good or bad, we just talk because we have the time to talk. Yeah. I'm not working to the bone until like 11 p.m. at night and then knocking out and then waking up at like 4 a.m. and leaving. Yeah. We'll talk and see, could it have been handled a different way, or what do you think is the driving factor behind the behavior, rather than just labeling it mischievous, you know?
See, I'm very thankful that like I have Nina, who literally just finished her doctorate program in occupational therapy. You know what I mean? And she also has, and she wants to focus on pediatrics. So even like her capstone project, everything she's been training with, her taking on babysitting jobs on the side, her being a preschool teacher for a year after college, like she's a shit ton of from straight up just like babysitting to like developmental stuff as well, and understanding how to like treat. So we have this understanding. Maybe we're joking around to make it seem light and chill, or maybe it's easier for me to accept, but like I know that should we be lucky enough to have a child in the early years, I gotta follow her lead. She's gonna be a fucking amazing person.
That's
but we
awesome.
also joke around and know that like should our child, when they become a teenager and adult, it's most likely I'm gonna have to take over.
Would you be the stricter?
Yeah, but also
one?
maybe just like we joke. She's very book smart. I'm not, but I'm also
You're street smart.
Quite street smart in a different way. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's when a lot of the book stuff goes out the door.
Dude, like having a kid and like I'm fortunate that I had pets growing up. Not to like equate humans to animals, but like when you
There's
have
a lot of similarities.
Yeah, when you have a puppy and shit, I don't know about kittens too much. But yeah, when you have like a puppy and then raising them, they go through teething, you house train, like the their personalities change. So having that definitely sets you up, and then owning a business. Definitely like like you being the owner definitely helps you because now you're used to dealing with a different personality and having to navigate that, right? Like you have to problem solve without screaming, without beating like how you were raised, and it forces you to really like navigate the situation and like try to problem solve because that's all you're really doing as a parent. Like you're trying to instill, like kind of like running a business, you're trying to instill your why in the family like vision, and you're also like making sure that they're not gonna be shit bags and that they understand and you understand them and they understand you, and it's literally like fucking business. Not to say that kids are like businesses, but
that's good advice.
It really is like that.
That makes me feel a little bit more calm going into the idea of it. Maybe one step more ready.
Yeah, no, I think you're gonna be a great dad, man. The fact that you're self-aware, huge. That you're also aware of like your likes and dislikes from your own childhood. That's always going to be at the forefront of your mind. You know how to explain yourself, like you know how to articulate, you know how to like use logic. I think a lot of that, like whatever issues I had with my parents, it was just because of the lack of logic for me, where I'm like, wait, if A plus B, why doesn't it equal C? I don't get it.
Just the language barrier already from my child, my growing up. I even to this day like fantasize if me and my mom spoke exactly the same language to the exact depth, because we communicate, but like to truly speak to somebody at like with that kind of articulation, I wonder what I would learn about her. Like that's how far it was. So that's why, like, when I think about, like, I know. That's why when I think about children, I know that I don't know so much, which is why I'm like, I'm not nervous, but I know it's not like I can ever be like, yo, I'm ready to have a child. I'm like, yeah, I think it's time to have a child.
I think the question, when you guys ask, like, are you ready to have a kid? I think the question should really be like, are you ready to never sleep again? That should be the question, because, of course, no one's going to be ready. But I think if you can tell people, hey, you're never going to sleep again, are you ready for that shit? Then I think people would be like, I'm not ready. Not yet. No. I think
I definitely need a little bit more time. I need a little bit more time.
Yeah. You're not sleeping again. Yeah. That shit's just not, it's just not going to happen.
Plus, for again, just for the depth of the answer, Nina also just graduated. So, like, she's, like, right at the place. She's taking her test, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then she's going to go get her job.
Yeah, full on her career.
Actually, try to, like, experience that. And, like, speaking firsthand, I'm like, you need to go. Like, you need to figure it out. You need everything that you need. I'm here to just support you, just like you supported me.
Yeah.
And that even means that if like kid isn't like in her forethought at all, which I know she is planning for, she's a smart woman still too. But like, whatever she needs, this is like a time of her journey that she needs to fucking just put her foot on the gas and go, and not think like, oh, I have to have a kid at this time. Like, I don't want to put that pressure on her either.
That's dope.
But we have talked about it, so that's cool and exciting.
Yeah, no, I love that, and it's good that you married someone that's or gonna marry someone that's younger.
Yup,
because
like, know this,
I fucked up.
Bart fucked up and he married someone older.
It's awkward face right now.
No, I don't feel any sort of negative pressure from Bart ever. It's fucking awesome. All right, next question. We're gonna get a little bit deep here because I know this
These
topic.
are all deep.
Deeper.
Okay, all right.
Or deep in a different way. Yeah. This was
okay.
pretty deep, but like in a different communal way.
Okay.
Okay, what motivates you? And how do you hope? So I guess this is all kind of tied together. But what motivates you? And how do you hope that the Asian community will continue to advance in society?
Ooh, that's pretty deep.
Especially for you.
That's almost like two
deep,
questions.
I know.
Like what motivates you?
Okay, well then pick the one you want.
Or maybe answer both of them, yeah.
We'll move into the other one.
What motivates you, first of all? We'll go with that one.
I don't think I've had as many chances as I probably would like to be able to share things of this nature. But for the sake of the question, the conversation, I think I have a lot of like foundational motivation from like my father. It's not like he ever gave me motivational speeches, but just like the man he was in my life and what I wanted to be and what I wanted to be to him. Again, this guy started the Boy Scout troop that I joined, and Boy Scouts was a huge part of my developmental everything because it trained me to, one, like the skills that you actually get, actual life shit, and being outdoors and playing with people and working with people and hating people, but still having to stay in the patrol and working around group dynamics even as a young age, but also advancing in rank. Like, it wasn't just about like, oh, I need to learn how to be an Eagle Scout because that's the goal. It's like my father's the troop leader and everybody's paying attention. I better kill it. I need to be number one always. Wow. And since then, right, even becoming the first Eagle Scout in my troop, like that wasn't just me. That was my fucking father. Like that's my dad. If he wasn't the troop leader, I don't think I'd be as motivated. But just having that be so huge in my career or my childhood, like everything that I ever joined, every Club Live in junior high school, American Red Cross in high school, like CADC, the dance team in college, like nonprofit organizations after, and even Kinja's, I couldn't just be a part of it. I had to be the top, the leader in every, and I always had to be that, you know? So I think from a motivation standpoint, a part of me might still be tied to everything that my father is tied to, whether it be my feeling of like why I need to go there, why I need to prove myself still to him, feeling like I'm always in his shadow in a good way, and also just like knowing like these fools work their asses off. My dad is not a super rich or successful dude, but they had dry cleaners for over 20 years. There was a lawsuit involved that like pushed everything back. Like my family is not really a flashy success story by any means. So myself and my sister are the only chances that they have as well, you know? So just like, I think the theme of like why I'm motivated, and then the why of like what they also need in their lives and like for us to take care of them, I think those are always somehow in the back of my mind, whether I address it or not. But I honestly think they're the most powerful things that I do it for. Every single time I even go into business conversations with my partners about like, let's make that money. You know, the main reason why we always said we wanted to get rich was because we wanted to retire our parents.
Aww.
That's so dope.
So like, I fucking want millions of dollars right now, but I know for a fact that half that I got to make sure my parents are good because they're not right now. You know, like if my dad stops working today, if me and my sister don't help them, there's nothing saved up. There is debt. You know what I'm saying? And they're happy people, but you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a strong why that I need to fucking kill it out there.
That's dope.
Nice. Now, I don't doubt that you will.
But for the Asians to add on top of that, living that, my story is not super unique, right? Like that's the Asian American experience in general. You know, I don't want to like overgeneralize or stereotype, but that is a very, very common Asian American experience. Most people are first generation. Most people are coming here from wartime. Most people do not have the same opportunities. Language barriers held them back in a, you know, systemically not racist society towards Asian Americans, but like kept keeping the model minority construct. Like that was our parents' generation.
I mean, you are moving into a new country, you know?
Yeah.
Like no matter what, like if I go, I feel like I'm relatively successful, but if I move to France, there's a different system that is already not in my favor because I didn't grow up there.
Yeah.
You know?
So and that was on our parents to do that. And for us who were born here, it is literally our actual duty to fucking figure it out and do better and do more. So like there's no more, I'm stereotyping myself. I have to fall into that same time frame for the Asian experience to like, you know, I'm just doing what I'm supposed to, whether that's successful or not. Everybody in our generation who got the opportunity to live in like, you know, America with the dream, it's your responsibility to try and fucking figure it out and find success and do it for your family and for your legacy. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like I'm part of what all of us in our generation are supposed to be doing. And the next generation, if you have more opportunity, you better work twice as hard. That's how we need to carry the Asian experience. Not just about like getting our shine relative to other people. It's just doing what we're all supposed to do here, what our parents like, you know, sacrificed and all that stuff. And then what we should gain from it, let's give it to our children and move it on, you know?
That's dope. I like that.
That is really dope. Do both of you guys feel like that you carry like this Asian like ism that you have to like push the next generation and like do something with like for the Asian community? Do you guys both feel that?
I felt like that for a long time. I felt like that maybe not in high school. So I maybe the first time I felt that in high school was so I got kicked out of a bunch of schools. I went to a boarding school in one of my high schools, and that boarding school is just a high school full of delinquents. It's kids that couldn't handle continuation school, got kicked out of school districts, and parents that don't want to deal with them, they send them there. So you're pretty much there the whole time until there's a break, so your parents don't have to deal with you. Being there, it's like jail, right? Like the worst of the worst. And Asians are generally pretty good, so there's very few of us. So I don't know, I felt like there's like a sense that you need to represent already, because you already feel like people puffing their chest out. Oh, this fool's from a Hispanic gang, from a black gang, from like a white gang, whatever. So there's a little bit of that. I think when I joined the military, that's when I felt that like on steroids, because it was out of a platoon of 80, there's like less than 5 Asians.
Damn.
By the time you graduated, because like, you know, like the 80 people goes down to like 50 or 60, because either people quit or people get injured or whatever. Then there's probably like 2 or 3 Asians that, you know, so the whole time, especially during the time where there's a lot of Asian euphemisms that they like to share and lots of like verbal love that they like to give, you felt like
euphemisms and verbal love.
You gotta like really stand up for it, you know? So like if someone tried to punk me, I didn't feel like I was rebuttaling as Bart. I feel like I was rebuttaling for not
The
just
entire Asian
not
race,
just me
yeah.
and this platoon, but every other platoon that
Wow.
comes. That's how I felt. And then so with that kind of energy, I did chill out a little bit at UCLA, of course, because there's like 40-50% Asians. But when we started JK, that energy was there. You know, like me and Joe were super about it. There's no Asians in comedy at the time except for the OG, like Bobby Lee. But in the YouTube generation, there wasn't really much there, especially the more like Dave Chappelle type of Asians, the people that were going against the grain, talking about controversial shit, trying to be a little bit more hardcore or not play to the more like NSYNC or Full House type of comedy, but more like the Dave Chappelle type stuff. And then I think as I got older, I think that collectivist mindset, it starts to, I guess, wane a little bit, because I start to realize there's actually a lot more individual responsibility in how things happen. Kind of like what you're saying. It's like every immigrant, regardless if you're Asian or not, if your parent comes here for a better life, it is your job to fulfill that, right? Mm-hmm. So I start to go, oh wait, it's not really like this them versus me mentality, or I got to represent whatever. It's just I got to do me. And if I do me, all the other Asians do them, then the whole Asian community will come up. And if other people outside of Asians that are also immigrants, the entire immigrant community will come up. And that's really how America was built. You know, like the first Irish, the first Italian, the first whatever, like they all have like a heyday where they came and they definitely felt some sort of resistance, but they did their quote unquote immigrant duty and they crushed it. And then that whole community comes up. And so I guess I feel like that's where I'm at now, where I'm super pro Asian American stuff, because those are my roots. But I think more than that, I think I'm more about individual responsibility, and I want to see everyone crush it at whatever they're doing. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah. No, I totally relate to that. But I feel a little bit more like I never consciously picked up the flag for Asian Americans.
Yeah.
I feel honestly
they throw it on you though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like
it does from an outside perspective, it feels like you do embrace it a lot.
You want to hear what's mad stupid? We never intended for Kinjas to be an all Asian thing. I get it. I get
and then
what
it's
it looks
Kinjas,
like. I know.
Ninjas.
And we just happen to have a bunch of Asian friends. And you know what? A lot of us that even like ended up joining the crew too, like most of our relationships were really, really built when we were traveling overseas. Like, so imagine going to Europe and being like the teachers of like this culture, right? And you go to these giant camps, like thousands of students and stuff like that, maybe like 20 teachers. And you're like one of 2 Asians in the fucking whole city. So everyone looks at you, and obviously your relatability is like, hey, by the way, you're from LA, right? Obviously we're in the same scene. We're the only Asians here. We don't speak the language of everybody else. You want to go eat dinner? You meet some classes.
You want to get some pho?
Exactly.
You gotta find some pho.
Which, by the way, that's
something.
me and Ving's thing. We have to go find pho in every country. But you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like the things that relate people pull people together, and that's how you get so close. And the next thing you know, momentum builds, and suddenly you're holding a flag for the Asian race because you're on TV, and you're like, that's the Asian crew. Tell us about your Asian experience. Tell us about how your parents came from Vietnam. Like, and that's what everybody else who's not in your circle sees and wants to know from you. And then you're like, oh shit, I guess we do represent Asia right now more than ever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
and
crazy.
then so I think finding the balance of like trying to just do your thing, but then also recognizing, you know, like with great power comes great responsibility.
I've never heard that.
Right? Like the idea of it. There's a responsibility that's thrown on you, which is on one hand cool, you know what I mean, and crazy because you're just like people respect you and you have influence. And then on the other hand, kind of like to what Bart was saying, if you hold the flag but you can't move the needle outside of like just your voice or what you show, that maybe goes so far. And maybe from like how far in the industry we've all gone, the people we've worked with, the things we've seen, the backside of like of America and capitalism or whatever, it's kind of like now recognizing, especially at an older age, I'm like, yo, if I really want to make some other dents, like I need to get more powerful in a stronger position, shaking hands with more powerful people, sitting in the room, sitting at the table, let alone just like speaking on behalf of. It's just, can you even have more power of impact? Not power to be powerful and rich, but just like, can you actually make impact? Because, you know, anybody can watch a fucking Netflix documentary, YouTube a couple things, and suddenly be an activist for something nowadays.
Yeah.
And stand up for something.
But can you make actual change?
And that, I think that's maybe as we all grow up and mature, like that's what you really want. You end up wanting to make change.
Yeah.
I ended up realizing even through the pandemic and stuff like that, we were like, we're doing stuff for Asians, blah, blah, blah. But realistically, the number one thing, especially living in downtown LA, that needed the most help in our community was like the homeless people. So we did a bunch of major campaigns for like Kinja noodles, where we donated a shit ton of noodles to like the homeless people in our area, while in partnership with this group called Homie Made Meals to like prepare food for homeless people in our unhoused communities, right? And it's like, we don't blast any of that. We don't get to gloat it. It's not something that like, you know, other Asian influencers rally and it's like, we got to make a stand here. It's like, no, we're just, some people just got to make change in their community.
You're just doing it in the shadows.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you just got to do it. So I think that that's a definitely a flag, but it's not the only flag of purpose for us.
Sick. I love that. Okay, I'm gonna close it out.
This is too fun.
It's fun.
I'll keep going. Okay, I'll
you
close
gotta
it
come
out.
back again for the third appearance. You're really like that.
Yeah.
We have a certain segment for the third appearance.
Especially with this philanthropic, like.
Yeah. Energy.
Yeah. Okay, so what are three things that you would tell yourself 10 years ago? So we're talking about 2011.
Damn.
What the fuck were we doing? I think YouTube was just like
Tick tour, right?
So easy.
Really?
Easy. Yeah.
10 things? This guy's greedy.
No.
3 things.
three things 10 years ago.
I was like, this motherfucker
things
wants
10 years
a
ago.
book.
Hands down, number one thing. I know this is gonna seem like a troll.
Start with the T. T-A-X.
That's the last episode, dude.
I know.
But almost, I would have fucking went ham in crypto.
10 years ago, bro. Yes.
Imagine.
Oh my god.
Because the thing, I'm not even saying like Back to the Future. Look at the almanac. Bet on the sports team. I'm not talking about that shit. I'm talking. We believe in it now. We just weren't keen on it back then. You know what I'm saying? Like we're early investors and adopters of it today.
What's the number? Like if you would have
put in fucking $1,000 in 2009 when it started or some shit.
Yeah.
You would have like $217 million or some shit.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
I like that. So next time the genie, I get that genie question, that's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I'm not betting on the luck of like a horse, right? I'm like, this is fuck. If I would have just been more understanding of, and it's not about learning about Bitcoin, right? The thing that like convinces you to go into it is learning about the world financial and economic like structure.
Yeah.
So like just being more mature and learning about how the world actually works, institutional money, the people that fucking do the handshake deals behind closed curtains that keep the rich rich and the poor poor. Like when you learn about all that stuff, then that's why you think of the solution of crypto.
It's all the classes that you're like, okay, I'm gonna sleep in this class. You're
exactly.
like, why the fuck did I sleep in that class?
What you should say.
God
That's what you should
so
tell yourself.
that's one thing. All right. Another thing is social media. I think we always. I'm gonna speak for myself. I think you guys do a great job.
No,
trust
we
me.
suck. We used to.
But I was maybe so caught up trying to again be an artist as well, which again no shade, it got me where I am, and maybe that's what it would have taken. But again, for the sake of answering this question, like all those times I ego tripped and I was like, oh, this social media thing, I don't want to jump on that. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Who gives a flying fuck? You are one in billions of people that are going to jump on anyway. The world does not revolve around you in that sense. Yes, get comfortable. Yes, find your lane. But any time that I was kind of like, maybe I want to jump on this, 2 years later or too late later, we jump on it anyway because we had to.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, oh, if you would have just, like Bitcoin, if you would have just wrote it earlier, as the platform gets adopted, you'd be like, the head honchos, right? Everybody would know, which is kind of what we were for YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that like, we were the best content creators in the game, but there were only a handful. So only so few people were getting all of these followers, right? And then suddenly everybody slowly became content creator, and now it's like everybody can do stuff.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like earlier adoption of like major global trends. But how would you know?
You don't even know.
You wouldn't know.
That's
the hardest part.
I had friends like, because everything's so clear now, right? Because we see how the world operates now. But I've had friends that literally at the inception of email, they're like, are you kidding me? Who's going to do this email thing, right? And then they're like, their name is Sam Johnson or something. They're like, fine, I'll do it. And they're like, wait, Sam Johnson's taken. What the fuck? What about Sam Johnson 1, 2, 3, 4? They're like, fuck, now I got to do like Hello Kitty 55.
Sam Johnson 69.
Yeah, because all of them were fucking taken. Yeah. And it's crazy that you would think that everyone has an email now and it's the industry standard. But there was a point in time where it needed to be adopted and there was non-believers.
So that's a huge thing. I think I guess to tie both of those of my three, just understanding that the world will constantly change, and we're in like the Renaissance era for technology and social connection.
Yeah.
So like things will happen overnight, right? The way that like YouTube happened, like that was dinosaur slow compared to the way that TikTok happened.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so fast.
And TikTok now is like,
forget about it.
Right? It's like so huge. So I mean, that's not gonna stop. So even now, I'm gonna be like, the next time some new shit comes out, don't be so caught up in the past or the way you do shit. At least jump in fucking full nude head first, whatever, and then discuss whether or not
just keep the clothes on
and then figure out if you don't like her, if it's not for you. But like always dive in,
So that still sounds like 1 for me.
Okay, fine. Well, and then, so
you know what I mean?
Okay, mom.
I would have maybe constructed businesses different.
Dang. So nothing about like your personal self you would want to change? Like nothing where you're like, hey man, she's going to fucking break your heart, so make sure to do that. Or like anything like that? Because right now it's very like, I would have done Bitcoin. I would have jumped. Like it's very career focused. What about
fine. Let me give you some real personal stuff.
Of course. We're trying to get close, bro.
Okay, all right, fine.
Get financial.
Okay.
That's our other podcast.
Yeah.
This sounds so shallow. I love it. Oh my God. Obviously, before meeting Nina, I should have slutted around way more.
Yeah, that's what he says.
Like honestly,
I used to think that too.
And again, it's such a stupid conversation anyway that has no fucking merit. So I don't care to be judged on this. And it's not gonna happen anyway. But at the end of the day, if you knew you were gonna be with one person for the rest of your life anyway,
which is funny because you do know.
Yeah, you do know.
You do know that's the goal.
If you're not there, you're just not there. So and you're younger, so it's okay. You don't do this. Okay,
wait, what are you saying? If you're not there, you're not there. What are you talking about?
Like you're not there with the one person you're going to spend the rest of your life with yet.
Yeah.
If you're not at that life destination yet,
Yeah.
and you're here,
Yeah.
then go ahead and just have fun.
I see.
Or maybe also mentally being like every single time you like go on a date, you're trying to look for the one.
That's how I
But
was.
maybe that's not where you are in your life.
Yeah.
Dang,
And
you
that's
were always
why-
looking for the one?
I always was.
I was not. I'm just saying like I was always I could have been more like a slut. I think I could have sledded way more. I was young. I was traveling all the time by myself.
Dang, you
You know
didn't
what I
take
mean?
advantage.
And like
You jacked off in many countries.
I jacked off so much.
And only a few people can say that.
Yeah. And again, I wasn't dating
fucking
Nina. I
funny.
wasn't dating Nina my entire
lot of people
travel
say that.
career. I was traveling a lot even before I got with her. So that's what I'm mainly talking about.
Yeah.
The second I like tried to stay with her, and I did, I was fucking jacking off everywhere, and that's it. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying I would change that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying beforehand,
You would jack off and fuck more
I would
people.
fucking go way more ham and not feel
Guilty.
Yeah.
Dirty.
Yeah, because you know what?
Sinful. Disgusting.
As a man, the women out there are looking for it too. It's, you know what I mean?
That's what I said. I've
Yeah.
said that too. I mean, I don't say that now just because just the whole idea of like courting and fucking talk. I'm like,
Yeah.
ugh. But yeah, we've had this conversation so many times where it's like, dude, we should have fucked way more. Like the experience you bring into the
Yeah.
relationship, you have more connected sex.
Yeah, just anything too. I mean, like fucking drugs, orgies, the whole nine.
You can still do
You
the
know?
drugs, probably not. I mean, I guess you can still do the orgies. You just have to.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, you know, maybe later in life when we're like senior citizens and like every.
I
you know
hope
what mean?
not.
Like, but you know how that shit is, right? In nursing homes, everybody's got like AIDS and stuff like that. So actually, all do drugs,
Yeah.
right? Like you're going out anyway. There's a like you
True,
Yeah,
go out
they're
with a
like,
bang.
fuck it.
Yeah, you gotta experience shit.
Yeah.
And like that's the funny thing. It's like I even like look at my parents, right? And it's like now that they've worked all their ass off, now me and my sister can take care of themselves. Now they can start taking vacations, right? But like they can't fucking hike 2 miles without nearly killing themselves. So it's kind of like do what you want to experience and what you can when it's prime for you.
Yeah.
Because all that other stuff, maybe that's when it's supposed to happen, when you can't
Yeah.
be doing that shit.
Because there's all this like the reason why I didn't, there's like these random invisible arbitrary ideals and
Exactly.
morals that I had in place for no reason. And then when you think in retrospect, because I was one of those that was dating for marriage every single one. And as soon as I found something that I felt like was a giant flaw in the relationship, I'm like, I don't see it going anywhere. But then now that I think back the other way, I'm like, would you trust like a 18 or 19-year-old to write a life plan, a permanent life plan for someone to follow anyways? So I'm like, then why would I bestow that responsibility on my 18 or 19-year-old self to find the one, you know?
Yeah, if we were even in the same reflection of this conversation, if I was like looking at like my son who is like 18, 19, 20 or whatever,
Yeah.
and they're like, yeah, this is my plan. I would respect it.
I'm like, your plan's
obviously
done.
there's
You're 18,
idealisms,
dude.
That's
right?
probably why all the dads probably tell their sons like, "Go, champ, get them."
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'd respect it. I'm not gonna be like, go be a piece of trash or like go treat anybody wrong. But I'd just be like, just make sure that you're young, you're still finding yourself.
Okay, you said son, but what about daughter?
I would say the same.
You
words.
hesitated.
I would say the same words, right? I'd be like, hey, I would respect it. I'd be like, hey, you know, you're still young. You're still like finding yourself.
would
So
let-
just
you would
give
be-
your respect
You
to
would say
yourself.
like go fuck a lot,
I would not say those words.
go have a lot of sex. Here's
I
some
would
condoms.
not say those
have
words
fun.
to my daughter.
Would you say you go slut more?
No,
Open up those legs any chance you get.
not to my daughter.
What would you say then?
Throw that shit back.
You know, I'll just talk to your mom.
Really? No, don't be that guy.
I literally,
Like,
it would be
ask your
I'd
mom, I
probably
don't know.
uncomfortable as fuck. I would have to admit it'd be uncomfortable as fuck, but I'd probably literally just be like, you're young, you know, like take more advantage of like what life has to offer because those experiences are going to teach you more. And the more you learn, the
Yeah.
smarter you're going to be later. So don't worry about being a genius right now. It's okay to be young and dumb because you don't want to be old and dumb.
Yeah.
But if you are for sure young, it's okay to be a little dumb.
That's true.
On the life experience.
Yeah.
On the life experience.
Got it.
And sometimes it takes dumb mistakes to become smart,
Yeah.
you know, or to
I
get
do.
smarter.
I stay dumb.
Yeah, very true.
You can only say that as a fucking really, really brilliant, smart, and powerful person. But yes, thank you for coming on to my podcast today.
What are you talking about? Okay, your final one.
All right. Oh, my final. What?
The
What would you
three.
tell
No,
them?
yeah.
because you counted the first two as one.
Yeah,
I get
remember
it,
you guys
I get
called
it.
me mom?
Fuck.
Because it was the same thing. It just felt like you just need to be a bigger risk taker. Even
No,
though I feel
well,
like
one's more financial, right?
Yeah, bigger
believe
risk.
And then the other one was
More
slut
business.
around more.
That was a good one though. The sledding around one is a good one. I feel like a lot of people think that and feel it, but don't ever want to say it out loud. But I'm like, what's wrong with it? No, I mean, I get what's wrong with it.
At that time,
I get what's wrong with it.
2011. Shabu Shabu Boy.
Yeah, were you shabu shabu boy at that time?
I was at that time.
See?
Damn, I want some shabu.
Dang, there's so many things like are tied to like business and
Honda Accord
investments and
days.
money and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But for the sake of not just being like taxes, this, blah, 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 that. I
What
also
about you
think
as a man? Are you proud of the man that you are right now?
I'm very proud of the person I am right now. Yeah.
Sick. So there's nothing you would tell yourself 10 years ago and being like,
Do you think that you're the same person from 2011? Was that for
Fuck
a little?
no.
No?
really?
Yeah.
Was he a little bitch?
Yeah, he was just he was more outwardly driven.
What's outwardly driven me?
Like
Material,
you know
money?
when you know less, your naivety gives you confidence,
I see.
right?
Yeah.
It's like our dreams were so big when we were 20.
Yeah.
Where the world was your oyster, where you're glazed either from graduating college and you feel like you have all the time in the world, or you're young, so you actually have drive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then the more, wisdom you get, wisdom coming from the pain of experience, which ends up sometimes making people a little bit more senile and like slower and
A
reserved.
little bit more pessimistic.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, those kinds of things. Without being pessimistic about it, but like the naturalness of maturity.
Yeah.
You have to go through the fucking
I was like a
shits.
cocky but like a naive boy back then, you know. But regardless of that, like I'm proud because of the things I had to go through to become where I am. But if I were to like change some stuff, I don't think I had to drink as much and pretend like I was like. I learned a lot later than I needed to. Like, it's not cool to be cool. It's cool to be rich. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think I was, especially as a dancer and artist, I was spending a lot of time trying to figure out how to be cool. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying don't be cool. Like, fuck it. Cool is fucking cool too, you know? And it's fun. But when you spend so much time doing that, like the little things in your entirety of your life, like chip away, and a lot of momentum change. So I could talk about like, oh, I would have bought Bitcoin, or if I wasn't trying to be so cool, maybe I wouldn't have bought all these cool Apple devices and all these toys and swag out with all this clothes when I didn't have the money. It's like, why did I buy all this like sick ass clothes and shoes when I'm still living in this shitty ass apartment? Like the measure of your choices. You know, come from like the measure of your character and your experiences.
Almost trying to like impress imaginary people.
Yeah, like today, all of us we can choose to show up to work every day in like basketball shorts and like a t-shirt, and not actually give a fuck, knowing the confidence of other things. You know, knowing we'll hold ourselves in that room. But maybe it's because I didn't have that confidence back then that I tried to overcompensate and actually show it in other ways. And I think that's so natural for people. But again, the concept of the question is to go back and look at our younger selves and like, what would we change?
Yeah, for sure.
Not cool to be cool to be rich.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're also growing up, man. Like 10 years ago, like what do you have though? Like you're not in a space where you can afford a house. I mean, now it's probably different because of the internet and TikTok and app developments and just where technology is, that there are so many like young fucking rich people. But in our era, we didn't have that quite yet. So I get where you're coming from. Like, what are you going to stunt on? You're in college. Or you're trying to like make money. You know what I mean? Yeah, there's nothing else.
Dancers are fucking idiots.
I don't even think it's dance. I just think it's just adolescence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what are you going to stunt on? You can't afford a house. Maybe the next big stunt is probably a nice car. Like, what are you really going to, where's the flex? Like, no one gives a fuck if you have a 4.5 GPA. That doesn't look sexy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's not going to get you bitches or like dudes. Like, no one gives a fuck about that.
Yeah, until you like invent the next crazy app that came from the 4.5.
Yeah, but then you're all socially awkward and shit, and like, I don't know. That's not true.
I hear you.
I'm all trying to make myself feel better now.
But yeah, point is, proud of the people we're today.
Yeah.
Just, if we could change some stuff, it's just to accelerate to the people we're today faster, so we have more time or more options. You know.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Dude, I'm so fucking happy though that you're like, I'm proud to be the man I am today. That's sick. Because it'd be a different conversation if you were like, fuck, no, not really. So you're on the right path, man.
Thank you.
I think that's it. I think those are, I mean, there was a ton of questions. There really was a ton of questions, but we ran out of time.
Dude, this is a good conversation. It's really comfortable in here. I love that it's cold.
Yeah. Well, we kept the AC really, really cold because this guy's hot and he wants to. Look at how good he looks.
Thank you.
Yeah,
He looks
man.
so good.
Thank
I
you
wish he
very
could
much.
wear clothes
Sexy
more.
motherfucker. It's the
I
headphones
know.
that make you hot.
I'm the only one with headphones.
I forgot they were even there. We podcast all the time. That's so funny. Well, Anthony, thank you so much for being here. Honestly, I always forget that the cameras are even rolling. Like, it's just such a cool conversation, and you're just a good vibes and good energy that I'm always like, oh shit, yeah, I got to pay attention to the time because we're actually working right now. So always, 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 thank you so much just for fucking with us, dude. We love you.
Always, always, to the end of time.
Thank you. And we love you guys too. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Yeah, let us know in the comments who else we should bring on. And if you have any more questions, send them our way. Thank you so much and see you guys next time.